For many years I've been looking for lenses that produce great bokeh. After trying out various brands and lens mounts, I decided to focus on M42 screw mount lenses. The best M42 lenses, despite being over 40 years old, can produce amazing results, often better than much more expensive modern primes. They're great value for money and a lot of fun to use manually, and they can easily be adapted to most digital cameras. I posted 4 separate videos about the best lenses divided into 4 lens groups. Wider than 50mm, 50mm, the classic fast 50s, 55 to 58mm, and over 58mm. I haven't tried every single old lens that was made in each group, but I've selected most of the highest rated lenses, with 1 or 2 exceptions that I'll mention as I go along. In this video, I'm going to recommend the best bokeh lens over 58mm. I've included photos to back up my recommendations, and provided a link below to my Flickr stream, where the photos taken by these and other lenses have had over 7 million views. Before we start looking at the lenses, a few words about what makes a great bokeh lens. Good lenses produce smooth blur that is not too distracting or busy, that helps isolate faces or objects and gives an image a 3D look. Another feature of a good lens is that it's sharp wide open and produces relatively seamless transitions between in and out of focus areas. However, the great bokeh lenses can produce more than this. Some of the best lenses produce lovely, dreamy, almost watercolory images. Interestingly, a number of these lenses are older lenses with limited coatings. They flare a bit more, they have lower color contrasts, but after some post-processing, they produce beautiful results. Lenses that produce clear and smooth bokeh bubbles can really enhance an image. Some photographers also like onion ring effects, but I personally find rings distracting in most cases. Then there are the famous bokeh swirls, a trademark of the Russian Helios lenses, and some others. And bokeh is not just about wide open shots. Some lenses can produce an extraordinary range of effects stopped down in the right conditions. Starbursts, fascinating shapes and flares, for example. The best bokeh lenses I'm talking about will have a strong combination of these characteristics. And now let's look at the over 58mm lenses. There are so many good lenses to choose from in this group, ranging from excellent portrait lenses, such as 85, 90 and 100mm lenses, all the way up to the extreme telephoto lenses. The 135mm focal length alone has many stellar M42 lenses from Japan, East Germany and Russia. Some of these lenses have justifiably earned their name of bokeh monsters because they have loads of aperture blades. 15 blades or more can enhance the quality of bokeh stop down. It gives images a nicely rounded look to background highlights, so you have the advantage of sharp images and smooth blur. There are a couple of lenses here that have multiple blades. This Takuma 200 f3.5 has 18 blades, and the Pentagon 135 f2.8 has 15 blades. The highly regarded Russian Tier 11A, which is not here, has even more blades. It's got 20 blades. I actually prefer the Pentagon to the Tier as it seems to be slightly sharper wide open, but both produce great bokeh. There's another famous bokeh monster lens here, the Helios 40 85 f1.5. This large and heavy lens produces probably even more swirly bokeh than the Helios 44s. Of course, the number of blades is completely and utterly irrelevant wide open, and there are a couple of lenses here that have no blades at all. These are projector lenses. They need to be attached to an appropriate helicoid, and mine are attached to the M42 screw mount helicoid, so I'm including them in this review. They can produce excellent bokeh, similar to some of the most expensive camera lenses in the world. For instance, one of the most famous bokeh lenses in this category is the Meyer-Optik Gorlitz Primoplan 100 f2.8. It's known for its extravagant bubble bokeh. It's also a very expensive lens, and the bubble bokeh effects can be largely recreated using a Meyer-Optik Gorlitz or Pentagon 80 f2.8 projector lens at a fraction of the cost. Let's start with these projector lenses. I've got a number of different projector lenses, and there are 2 here on my shortlist. A light or Leica lens, and it's always good to say you own a Leica lens, and a Meyer-Optik Gorlitz. The Meyer-Optik Gorlitz is a Diaplan 80 f3.5. If you want to recreate the onion ring bokeh effects of the much more expensive Primoplan, then I've noticed that the f2.8 version, not this f3.5 version, seems to be the one to go for. However, I prefer smoother bubbles, and in this regard, the f3.5 seems better. The bubble bokeh is a lot of fun. And you can also get very close into objects like the top of this vase. The best projector lens I've used, better than the Diaplan, is the Leica Colorplan 90mm. It's made in Germany, and there's another version made in Portugal. It's appropriately named as the images are so colourful, and the bokeh is absolutely lovely. Yes, it's sharp as well, as these photos show. Now let's compare the Helios 40 with this Takuma 85 f1.9. I've used both the Takuma 1.8 and 1.9 versions. Both lenses have excellent reputations. I prefer the 1.9 optical design purely in terms of the bokeh. 85mm is a popular focal length on crop and full-frame cameras for all sorts of situations, including portraits and as a walk-around. The Takuma lens produces very nicely rendered images, sharp with good subject isolation. However, and I should whisper this really, I find this Takuma rather boring. It does everything well, but it just doesn't grab me as much as other top bokeh lenses. The Helios, on the other hand, is the opposite of boring, so I'm going to keep the Helios on the table. My version of the Helios is an early pre-mass production version with a 000 serial number. I like to think it has pixie dust inside. Wide open, it produces fantastic swirls and flares, and it's not bad stop down either. Although to be perfect it would need more blades than the 10 it has. It's not quite as sharp as the Helios 44 wide open, but if anything the swirls are more pronounced. The colours are okay, but the images benefit a lot from a colour and contrast boost. If you're willing to put in the time, the results can be extraordinary. Now let's compare the Helios with the Colorplan projector lens. The Colorplan wins on sharpness and colours, but in every other way the swirly Helios is a better option. The big downside of projector lenses, of course, is that they don't have aperture blades, so they're always wide open. Plus it can be hard to find a helicoid solution that gets them focusing to infinity. The next contest here is between the Pentagon 135 and this Takuma 200 f3.5. In some respects, the combination of a long focal length plus a fast f-stop produces the ultimate bokeh lens, and for its age, the Takuma is pretty fast. The bokeh is very smooth, and the focal length is excellent for subject isolation. The images are very impressive. However, the Takuma is up against the Pentagon, and that's a hard challenge. I've got the Pentagon Zebra version with 15 blades and a preset mechanism. There's a later version with fewer blades and a more conventional aperture ring. The Zebra preset version was originally made by Meyer-Optik Gorlitz and then renamed Pentagon. It really is an exceptional lens, not just the bokeh, but the colours it produces. It's sharp wide open and very sharp stop down. Maybe not as physically awesome as the Tyr, but as I said, I think it's better. Between the Takuma and the Pentagon, I'm going to give the nod to the Pentagon. It's a more flexible all-round lens, much lighter to carry around, you can get closer to your subjects, and the results are excellent. This only leaves the Helios in the way of a Pentagon victory. As much as the Helios swirly bokeh is fun, at the end of the day the Helios is in danger of being a one-trick pony. You can spend a lot of money for a copy and only use it wide open in certain conditions. The Helios is not as sharp wide open as the Pentagon. The Helios is okay stop down, but it's rather prone to flare and a lack of contrast, and has far fewer blades than the Pentagon. However, when you look at the results of an old 135 lens like the Pentagon or the Tyr 11A, you have to ask, could another M42 lens produce similar quality bokeh? In my experience, a number of lenses can do what the Pentagon can do, and it's only when you stop down that the large number of blades can make a real difference. But there are a variety of other lenses with large numbers of blades at different focal lengths, from 100mm and above. Anyway, for the best bokeh, many photographers prefer using the lenses wide open, where the number of blades is irrelevant. So I'm going to say that the Pentagon is not exactly unique. On the other hand, there are few lenses that can do what the Helios 40 can do wide open. It's an extraordinary lens, despite its weaknesses, a sort of genius lens that has amazing strengths and some bad habits that are best ignored. So the Helios 40 is my choice for the best bokeh lens over 58mm. Hope you've enjoyed this video and it's given you some insights into these great lenses. It would be really good to read any comments or suggestions you have below. I'm posting 3 other videos on the best bokeh lenses, So please subscribe if you're interested.